these charts that we look at and stuff, all this red and green, right? These are just human emotions, okay? Green means we got a whole bunch of buyers saying, hey, let's buy this thing, right? And then red means we got a whole bunch of sellers saying, no, we're getting buyers, let's make our sells, let's make some profits, right? Green means it's going up in value, red means it's going down. All this symbolizes is human emotion, human reaction, okay? And that's something as a trader, as somebody looking at these charts and trying to make educated buys and sells and profits, that's something that you need to eliminate, the human emotion, okay? People that are going to be good traders are going to be people that have no emotion. There's technical terms for that, right? Won't get into that. You just have to practice being somewhat emotionless with cryptocurrency trading, because people sell out for fear of loss. They see market going down, they see Bitcoin go from $20,000 to $5,700, huge crash coming into 2018, and they sell, oh no, we're losing. And all the people that are seasoned vets, people like you and me, look at this and go, oh, buy, shit's gonna go up, we're gonna make a lot of money, right? But what you need to understand is charts are simply human emotion on paper. Charts are simply human emotion on paper, or on computers. Probably looking at it on a computer. Charts are simply human emotion. There's two separate mentalities when analyzing cryptocurrencies. You have chart versus real world. You got to separate those, okay? When you see a chart going like this and then just tanking, you got to understand why it did this and why it failed. Why? You got to understand that. And what this is human emotion and media and whales, people that own mass amounts of this cryptocurrency. There's a lot of things going on here. So you've got to think about it like a psychologist or a scientist and understand what's going on. Well, when the media comes in and says, hey, Bitcoin appears to be going up, oh shit, it's going up a lot, guys, pay attention, and all the idiots start buying it at an all-time high, you've got the media helping that pump. And then you've got a whole bunch of sellers up here saying, look, we own coin, now's the time to sell. And then you got sellers flooding the market and selling the market back down, causing it to go down. And then you get all these areas right in here where it's being tested. All these areas where it's failing, having a double bottom, right? Hitting bottom, going up, bottom, hitting top again, testing its previous area. And then all these failures in here. You've got to understand what those mean. Every single one of those points, you've got to understand what those are. What's happening there? And so you can look at a chart and go, okay, well, here's a double bottom pattern right here, and then here's, a trend right here, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 points on here, and here's a bull run, and here's a bear run, and you can do that all you want, and that's great, and you should. You should understand these patterns. You should be able to verify, there's a double bottom, it's about to spike up again, here's another chance to sell. Here's my fourth point in a bull trend, it's likely that this is going to tank soon. Might want to sell out now, rebuy at the bottom. You understand all that, but understand the why behind these patterns. Understand that the why this is happening is because of human emotion and what is happening in the real world. So when you're making your analysis on a coin, on a stock, on a forex chart, on trading futures, on commodities, on gold, on silver, on crypto, on anything, understand a chart is great. Learning these patterns and recognizing the historical patterns in which humans behave is great. But understand that that's exactly what it is. The historical patterns in which humans behave. When it benefits them to sell, when it benefits them to buy. When they get scared, when they get confident. When they're fearful, when they're arrogant. When they're cocky, when they're humble. That's what this is. But most people don't take a deeper look at anything in life. Education, formalities, why we're taught Edgar Allan Poe and Shakespeare in 10th grade honors English when we're not going to do that and grow up and we're going to learn to create a company called Millionaire Mafia and travel around the world and help people harness their financial future, get into cryptocurrency, use a lot of math and never use our AP calculus that taught us irrational roots and imaginary numbers, which don't exist, but apparently your professor says you need that if you're going to design rocket fuel at NASA, which if you ask Elon Musk, he'd probably say that's bullshit. You got to understand why. Why do we have these formalities? Why does it go up? Why does it go down? Understand that these charts are simply human emotion combined with what's going on in the world. Another thing, China just a couple weeks ago, as I'm making this video, and this will change in the future and stuff, okay, so don't hold me to this, but China banned Bitcoin mining. China closed down trading. I predict that that's not going to stay, but that happened. And when that happens, and at the same time, a Japanese exchange is hacked for $50 million worth of cryptocurrency, it scares people. Then the media takes that. It adds fuel to the fire. It's just like a fire getting a little bit of wind, and it just spreads it. And that spread creates a bear market for a long time until people get confident again, until some new coins come out, until more people start speaking about cryptocurrency, until Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank comes out, talks about a coin that he's supporting, until different events are held and people speak about it and different industries make products for it and blockchain technologies are introduced to society. And then it starts going back up again. So what's happening in the real world also, what's happening in different economies. You can't just look at a chart and go, okay, well, people got greedy here, people got confident here, people were happy here, people were sad here, a whole bunch of sellers sold out here because they make some money, a whole bunch of buyers picked up because it was a really low cost. But also, what type of buyers, what type of sellers? Why did we have a huge recession in cryptocurrency, one of the biggest we've seen coming into 2018? Why did we see Bitcoin go from $20,500 to $5,700? Why did we see it lose 70-something% of its value? 73%, give or take. Why did we see that? Look what happened in China. Look at the exchange hack in Japan of $50 million worth of Bitcoin. Look at some banks saying, look, we're not going to allow Bitcoin transactions or cryptocurrency purchases on Visa cards, on credit cards like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and a few others. So when you have all that happening at the same time, and the media just fueling it, people will react how they will react. They'll get afraid. Some will get afraid. Novices will get afraid. Seasoned vets will go, wow, buy, and they're frothing at the mouth. They can't wait for it to go back up. They love what's happening right now. Understand charts versus real world.